So, the next question that I have for you, Abhijit, is more on the times that we are living in right now. We kind of are going through an extremely interesting time. Good in many ways because there is a lot of tech advancements that are happening, but also not so good because it is leading into a lot of anxiety, confusion in people, mainly also employers, to be able to figure out if what would this lead to in terms of jobs. There are some interesting stats that people would keep quoting. One is, of course, we are facing from a fresher hiring standpoint the lowest ever hiring. It's kind of bottomed out in terms of unprecedented levels. Now, it could be because of shift in career, shift in skills requirements, or it could also be geopolitics, as some say. Um, there are also a lot of chatter or conversations and concerns about the fact that even people from IITs and IIMs are finding it very difficult to get placed. On the other hand, people who are in mid careers are also facing a similar challenge. While on one hand, people who have jobs finding it hard to retain, people who are not in jobs finding it hard to get jobs. What in your view is um, uh, I mean, what created this situation? And do you have any advice for people to kind of be successful, coming out with success out of this situation?
I think that's a great starter. So if you think about this whole notion of where do career opportunities come from, fundamentally
Hmm.
there are three aspects to it. One is which in my book Career 3.0, I begin with that whole conversation that you think about work. Hi, thank you. So you start to think about work that gets done. So all of us, we do some kind of work. So
Yeah.
somebody could be a doctor or an engineer. So specifically, then if I say that I'm an engineer, then you want to know what kind of engineering. So are you a coder? Are you a civil engineer? Are you an electrical engineer? So what kind of work? And then as you get drilled down specifically into that, so when I say that I am a coder, that's what I do. Then in which case you want to know the second aspect of it, which is what kind of skills do you have. So then you would say, what kind of coding do you do? So I can talk about so I have enjoyed developing applications for the iPhone, or I have enjoyed developing healthcare systems. I have enjoyed developing things for space. So which is actually talking about the kind of skills that I have built. So that would mean I have some project management skills, I have some coding skills, and I have some capacity to work in teams. I can work with customers. So those are the skills package. So first is you start with the work that you do, then you think about the skills that you build. And when you have work and the skills, both come together in the marketplace, which is when it comes to jobs, that becomes the employer. So the employer brings the work together. So this is what this company is doing, this is what the person is bringing into the workplace, and this is what gets people together. So when these collide, that is when you begin to see that this is what your career is all about. Yeah. So you become then a coder for X company. So in my case, I was leading learning and development. That's the work that I was doing, is actually about upskilling people, because there is a new kind of technology which is artificial intelligence, and Microsoft was at the lead of that. And so it gave me an opportunity to help the business really strategize how would you create opportunities for people inside the organization, change their skill base, because that's the only way that you create opportunities. So the work that I was doing was about upskilling. The skills that I have is in being able to consult, being able to understand how skills get built, being able to craft the story and the narrative to sort of make it interesting for people to learn things. And then through the coaching piece that I do, I help people build the confidence in the fact that you have the skill. So you build the confidence in the skill, and that's how you make people successful. So the entire concept of shift that we see is that there is a change in the way business models have traditionally worked and now the way they are going to work. So, this is therefore a pivotal moment when all those jobs are disappearing, but it'll create new career opportunities. So, I think the first takeaway, I would sort of say the first big takeaway is that you have to stop thinking of your work in terms of jobs. Jobs are going to start diminishing, but work will be in plenty, which means that the work that I do of designing, learning opportunities and upskilling opportunities for organizations, that is going to continue, because every business, any mid-sized business that I sort of work with, does not have necessarily a talent management system. So the opportunity I have is, how do I find that organization's challenge of building a talent management system and help them? So this is the way that work will keep happening. And then you kind of say that it can also happen with individuals. Then you kind of think that, okay, a lot of people who are starting off, you were saying that, when people start their own businesses, very often they struggle with that because they don't have the skill of articulating their personal brand. So if I can help them do that, that's another kind of work. So if you see, the work could be multiple kinds, right? And that will keep growing. I can help people do not just one thing, but hundreds of things. I can help organizations do not just one thing, but hundreds of things. So the opportunities, the moment you start thinking of jobs, that's going to diminish, but work is going to exponentially grow. So the opportunities will grow dramatically.